Good afternoon, everybody. This is the third match for today. Cuba versus the Dominican Republic. We are live from Paramaribo, Suriname. It's sunny out, and we are in Nesty Indoor Stadium. The game just started. The match just started, and Cuba has the privilege of serving first. Number 5 at the service line for Cuba, that's Iglesias Jesus. Going for a jump float. Gets past. Great. A hit from number 6 from Dominican Republic. A hit from Cuba. Gets defended and gets hit outbound by number 6 from the Dominican Republic. Adrian. Cuba's first point. Iglesias again at the service line. Great defense from Cuba, from the Dominican Republic. That is being called a net touch for Cuba, giving Dominican Republic their first point. Number 2 at the service line, Molina Ronnie Albert for Dominican Republic. Gets defended and played actually as a free ball. Great hit by Dominican Republic. Gets defended. Great defense from both sides today. There was a block out, giving Dominican Republic their second point. Albert again at the service line. Jump float and play through the middle. Number 17 hits in through the block. That's Jackdale Acosta from Cuba, giving Cuba their second point. 2 all. Third point for Cuba. Gets the ball gets passed a little too close to the net and gets blocked. Number 15 at the service line for Cuba, Camino Martinez Brian. Jump serve gets passed very nicely by Cuba, by Dominican Republic, and play through the middle, giving themselves their third point. 3 all it is. Dominican Republic, number 4 at the service line, Cristobal Daniel. That's a call from the ref that the ball is not played correctly with the right technique. Christopher Daniel again. He's an opposite hitter for the Dominican Republic. Gets passed correctly. And that is a call for stepping on the other side of the court for number 10 from Cuba, giving Dominican Republic their fifth point. Sorry. Number 4 again, and the service line for Cuba is going for a float, jump float. And the ball gets hit by Cuba, Marty Gonzalez, in the net from the outside, and that gives Dominican Republic their 6th point. A little bit of a... That's an in ball by number 10 from Cuba. That's Chago. Giving Cuba their fourth point. I'm sorry. Number 17 at the service line going for a jump serve, and that he aces, making number 5 for Cuba. 5-6 it is. Number 15 again, it's Camino. I'm sorry, that's number 17. Block and inbound. Hey. That's a timeout for both teams. Six to all. Now you get a chance to drink some water and collect yourself and refocus on the goal ahead. I must say that both of the teams are actually pretty well in defending the balls. Cuba at the service line, number 17. Great defense, a little bit off. Trying to play it tactical by Cuba. And a free ball. And a firm hit by number 6 from the Dominican Republic. That would be Adrian Jose, giving Dominican their 7th point. He's up for the serve now. Great pass. Firm hit. And they struggled to keep the ball up. They did defend it, but not good enough. Perhaps, unfortunately. Cuba, that's Chago, number 10, at the service line. Seven all it is. Pass by Cuba, Dominican Republic. Free ball. But the ball gets called a double because it was. Or a fourth touch. Not quite sure what I saw there. But Chago again, giving Cuba their 8th point. Great pass. And it gets blocked but outbound. So that gives Dominican Republic their 8th point as well. 8-8 it is. Number 12 for Dominican Republic at the service line. That would be Rojas de Jesus. Blocked and in by the Dominican Republic, giving themselves their 9th point. That would be number 18, Ortiz. Number 12 again for Cuba, Dominican Republic. And that was a bit of a battle for the ball at the net. But number 18 was, I guess, a little bit longer and stronger. So Ortiz got that one for Dominican Republic, giving themselves their 10th point. And a tactical ball from Dominican Republic. Playing the ball as softly as possible, but in an angle that the block would get it out. Number 12 at the service line for Dominican Republic again. De Jesus. That's a great pass by Cuba. And that is from the 3-meter line. Hit firmly into the court, giving Cuba their 9 points. It's 9-11. Jump serve into the net by Cuba, giving Dominican Republic their 12th point. Number 18 for Dominican Republic, Ortiz at the service line. Bit of a scramble there. And hit outbound, but touched one of the blockers. So the point is for Dominican Republic, making their 13th, 13-9. Slowly, they're walking away from their opponent. Number 18, Ortiz, at the surface. Good pass. But blocked into their own court very firmly. We would call that a monstrous block. Giving Dominican Republic their 14th point. A timeout for Cuba. Trying to get the server out of its rhythm and their players to calm down. Number 12 again. We're back from the timeout. Number 12 again at the service line. His first and primary job is to get the ball over and in. And he does that. A good pass through the middle. The ball gets defended but shackled away and brought back by number 12. And then free ball over, but kept at the net by the block from Dominican Republic. Blocked by Cuba. And hit outbound, but touched one of the players in the block from Cuba. Dominican Republic getting their 15th point. Number 18 again at the service line. Ortiz. Touch out. Cuba making their 10th point. Number 33 for Cuba at the service line. It's Wilson. Hit and in by the Dominican Republic. Number 9 at the service line for the Dominican Republic. Ortiz Polanco. That's an out ball. He surfaced the ball out. Giving Cuba their 11th point. Cuba at the service line. Number 5. Iglesias. That is an ace because the ball doesn't get past. It gets shackled outbound. Giving Cuba their 12th point. Number 5 again. Iglesias. Great pass. Hit. Ball gets defended by the libero. Ball is not. They're not able to keep the ball in play. They did their best though because they did defend, but not good enough. Unfortunately. With they, I mean Dominican Republic. Timeout for the Dominican Republic. The timeout is over. Number 5 again with his jump serve. Gets past, but a little too much on the net if you'd ask me. But Setter managed to keep it in play. And they were quick through the middle. The ball scores and the Dominican Republic makes 17. Number 2 at the service line for the Dominican Republic. Good pass by the libero. Not so great communication with the setter and the hitter from Cuba. The Dominican Republic scores their 18th point. Number 2. And that is a firm hit from number 15 from Cuba. Camino Martinez, Camino Brian, making their 14th point. Number 15 at the service line. Jump serve. Great defense. So Dominican scores again. That's their 19th point. The score is 19-14. There's a change. Number 8 going in for number 4. That is a change on the side of the Dominican Republic. Gomez going out, and Christopher Daniel going out, and Gomez going in. Point for Cuba, making their 15th point. There's a 4-point lead for the Dominican Republic. Let's see if they can maintain that. And that is a firm hit, making their 20th point. That was number 6. Adrian Jose from the Dominican Republic. He's at the service line. And number 10, Thiago from Cuba, making their 16th point. Actually, he is long. I guess one of the longest on the team from Cuba. The ball gets served outbound and giving Dominican Republic their 21st point. It's 21-16 in this set. Still 4 points. And that was a hit from Cuba in the block, but the block gets touched it, but gets it outbound, giving Cuba their 17 point. It's 17-21. Now we have a 3-point difference. Good pass by the Dominican Republic. Gets blocked, but gets keep kept in play. Good defense, but good defense from the Dominican Republic. But the second ref called a net touch, which it was, giving Cuba their 19 point. The points in difference are getting smaller. A pass not so great by the libero and gets hit straight into the net, giving Cuba their 19 point. (19 to 21). That is a 2-point difference. And they hit straight into the net. That's number 46 from Cuba. I guess Pereira. The Dominican Republic has 22 points. They're 3 points away from winning this set in the third match of the second day of the under-23 men's Pan Am Cup. Good defense by the libero. He was there for the tip ball or just the drive ball, soft drive. Not so good of a communication at the side of the Dominican Republic, as the setter tried to play the middleman, but somehow it went wrong and the ball didn't even get played correctly and it went into the net, giving Cuba their 20th point. We have a point difference of 2, which can easily turn around. These boys are not giving up. Number 13 at the service line for Cuba, Martinez. Touch and out by the block from Cuba. So giving Dominican their 23rd point. Number 2 at the service line for Cuba, for Dominican Republic, Ronnie Albert. And a firm hit by number 15 from Cuba, giving Cuba their 21st point, 21 to 23, still on 2 points. Number 5 with his jump serve, can he ace? And into the net, giving the Dominican Republic their 24th point and their match set point or match point, if you prefer. 24 to 21 it is. There's I guess something wrong with the formation. They're asking the second ref who stands where, and she's trying to order them before playing. She gives the clear, so we can continue. Number 2 at the service line for the Dominican Republic, Molina. And the ball doesn't get shackled with a pass, giving the Dominican Republic their 25th point. Dominican wins this set with 25 to 21. The second set has started. The Dominican Republic just won their first set. And giving Cuba an advantage with starting with 1-0. Number 5 at the service line for Cuba, Iglesias. He has a very strong jump serve. You've seen him ace it. But it gets passed very well by Cuba. Free ball. And a block in from the Dominican Republic, giving them their first point in this set. 1-1 it is. We have the court assistants drying up the floor. So we may continue safely. Number 2 from the Dominican Republic, Chago with a very great kill, giving Cuba their second point. It gets clean in. Number 15 from Cuba at the service line. And a ace, giving them their third point. Number 15 again. Camino Martinez, Brian, that is. And he hits this one into the net, giving Dominican Republic their second point in this match, in this set. Number 4 for the Dominican Republic at the service line. Through the middle, does not get defended by by the Dominican Republic, and Cuba makes their fourth point. Number 7 at the service line for Cuba. Number 17, that is, I'm sorry. It's Jack Dill or Contreras Acosta. And he surfaced actually on one of his players, but into the net, giving Dominican Republic their third point. 3-4. The Dominican Republic surface and a tip ball from Thiago, but a firm hit kept in play, but not good enough, giving Dominican Republic their fourth point. 4-all. Number 6 from the Dominican Republic gets passed very well and hit by number 46 from Cuba. Giving Cuba their fifth point. Thiago at the service line. A pass, almost too much on the net, I would say, but a tip ball gets the block, playing the ball outbounds and giving Dominican Republic also their fifth point. 5-all it is. Dominican Republic served a great pass. No, not so great pass by Cuba. The ball gets blocked at the net, so no passing through for Cuba, giving Dominican Republic their sixth point. Number 12 for the Dominican Republic at the service line. And another monstrous block by the Dominican Republic, keeping Cuba at the net with this one, making their seventh point. Number 12 again. And a firm hit from Thiago, as we know, giving Cuba their 6 points, and the Dominican Republic has 7. 6-7 it is. Cuba at the service. And the number 46, just a jump serve, but straight into the net, giving Dominican Republic their 8th point. Dominican Republic at the service line, that is number 18, Ortiz. The ball gets hit by Thiago, but outbound, giving Dominican Republic their 9th point. A timeout it is.
And it's the first timeout for Cuba. With a score 9-4 for the Dominican Republic and 6 for Cuba.
We are back from the timeout. The score counts 9-6. 9 for the Dominican Republic and 6 for Cuba. The Dominican Republic is still at the serve with number 18, Ortiz. And a quick ball through the block from Dominican Republic. Cuba makes its 7th point. Cuba at the service line. Oh, a great hit by number 6 from the Dominican Republic, giving them their 10 point. Number 6 is Adrian Jose, and he hits it from the 3-meter line, so from the back of the court. Number 9 from the Dominican Republic at the service line. And the ball does not get defended from Cuba, by the Dominican Republic. So Cuba makes their 8 point. The score counts 8 for Cuba and 10 for the Dominican Republic. A jump serve gets passed but over the net. And a tricky but very surprising way of playing the ball over by number 15 from Cuba, giving them their 9th point. Number 5 with his jump serve from Cuba gets passed. And the block from Cuba does defend the ball, but outbound, giving Dominican Republic their 11th point. Dominican Republic number 2 at the serve line. Cuba with a tip ball, surprising even the libero and the block from the Dominican Republic, making their 10th point. The score counts 10 to 11. 10 for Cuba and 11 for the Dominican Republic. Number 15 at the service line for Cuba. Number 15 is Camino Martinez. There he goes, jump serve. Gets a pass, but a little bit off. Free ball it is from Cuba. They had a little bit trouble holding that one up. Chago with a hit. And giving Cuba their 11th point. Cuba again at the service line, number 15. Gets passed by the Dominican Republic. And the number 12 hits. The libero does his best to keep it up. And the setter couldn't quite. It's not the setter, it's the set up, because the setter did not play the ball. But the setup was not quite good enough, giving Dominican Republic their 12th point. And a block. They use a 3-man block to keep Cuba at bay. And it gives them points. Dominican Republic 13, Cuba 11. Number 4 for the Dominican Republic at the service line. Pass and Chago. The ball gets kept and Chago hit. The ball gets defended somehow, kept in the air, but not good enough because Chago then played it back again, making the point he wanted to make with his first hit, giving Cuba his 12th point. The score counts 12 for Cuba, 13 for the Dominican Republic. Cuba, number 17 at the service line. Acosta. Acosta, jump serve into the net, giving the Dominican Republic their 14th point. We count 14 to 12. The Dominican Republic yet again at the service line. That would be number 6, Figuera Lantigua. And a monster block by Chago and Wilson Velasquez. Cuba making their 13 to 14, very close to each other. Cuba at the service line. Chago with a firm serve. And number 6 hits the ball from the 3-meter line from the back of the court and makes Dominican Republic's 15 point. Number 12 from the Dominican Republic, Rojas de Jesus at the service line. He goes for a jump serve. The ball gets passed, but a little bit over the net, although the block from the Dominican Republic couldn't quite keep it at bay, and by their fault, the ball falls inbounds, giving Cuba their 14 point. Cuba. And that is a touch outbound by the Cuba and giving Dominican Republic their 16 point. The score counts 16 to 14. The Dominican Republic yet again with Ortiz Valdez at the service line. And a touch outbound by Cuba, giving Cuba their 15 point. Cuba at the service line. Number 33, Wilson Velasquez Alexis. There we go. Cuba, Dominican Republic hitting number 2, Molina Rodriguez, hitting from the outside. Diagonal into the court, and he scores Dominican Republic's 17 point. Amazing hit by number 17, I suppose, giving Cuba their 16 to 17. Yet again in this set, they're very close to each other regarding points and not giving up. Let's see who gets to maintain their tactics to win this set. And Cuba couldn't quite defend that second hit. It was a small or short rally, to be honest. We haven't really seen much of rallies yet for this match. But we're getting there, I suppose. Dominican Republic 18, Cuba 16. Number 2, Molina Ronnie Albert. Molina Rodriguez, that is. Serve. A pass that keeps hanging at the back of the court, and a block on number 15 from Cuba by the Dominican Republic keeps them at bay, making their 19 point. 19 to 16 it is. Through the middle, but the block blocks the ball but gets it outbound and not inside the court, giving Cuba their 17 point. Cuba at the service line. A pass that keeps and a block into their own court by the Dominican Republic, giving Cuba their 18 points. We're currently counting the score: 18 for Cuba, 19 for the Dominican Republic.
Second time out, with the score 19 for the Dominican Republic and 18 for Cuba.
The Dominican Republic has a small lead on Cuba, but doesn't maintain it. So now they're almost neck to neck. They're just 1 point in difference from each other. In volleyball, we know no point difference is too big. As long as you keep the fighting spirit and you keep going, there's always a winning chance. I always say the game is not over till the last ball has fallen. A block outbound by Cuba, giving Dominican Republic their 20th point. We're leaving 20-18. There is a change. Number 8 going in, number 4 coming out by at the side from the Dominican Republic. That is Christopher is going out, and number 8 Gomez is going in. A firm serve. And a firm hit by number 46 from Cuba, giving Cuba their 19th point. Yet again, 1 point difference. We're still watching and seeking to whom will get this set. We're very close to the ending, or as I suppose, very close to 25. Because the game doesn't end until there's a 2 point difference after 25. The ball gets brought back by one of the players from Cuba, but played as a free ball too far outside. So it lands outbound, and that gives Dominican Republic their 21st point. Dominican Republic at the service line. A set for Chago, and he finishes it. He understood the assignment from the setter, and he does finish with a great spike down the block. Chago at the service line for Cuba. It is 20-21. A block outbound, giving Dominican Republic their 22nd score. Point in the score for this set. Number 12 at the service line for the Dominican Republic. Firm serve. Great set through the middle. Gets defended and kept alive. And number 46 with a great hit, a tremendous hit power, I would say. And giving Cuba their 21st point. Yet again, we are here with a 1 point difference and leaning so close towards 25. Cuba, number 46 at the service line. Not sure what's going on. We had a small delay. I think It might have something to do with their formations or the way they're standing. I see the second ref giving the clear, so we're continuing this set. Cuba at the service line, number 46, going for a jump serve. Gets passed, hanging in the backcourt, but gets hit by number 6 from the Dominican Republic. And the ball gets shackled, defended but shackled out of bounds, giving Cuba their 23rd point, 23-21. We get a change, the same change we had just now, number 4 going out and number 8 coming in. We're doing a second change, number 4 going back in and number 8 coming out. Ortiz Valdez at the service line, number 18 for the Dominican Republic. Great service. And the ball touches the block but gets defended at the back. A free ball because of a misunderstanding, I suppose. And the ball actually falls at the side of the Dominican Republic. That would be a point for Cuba, but the first ref called it stealing because the ball was not quite over, but Cuba tried and defended the ball. So giving Cuba their match point, 24. Number 19 going in for number 18. A change at the side of the Dominican Republic. And a timeout, the second timeout for Cuba, trying to get or win their players some space or head space, trying to get their opponent out of their rhythm. It is 24-21. We are back again, number 19 at the service line. It was not supposed that he was brought in because of his service, but he was not a golden change. The change at side of Cuba, 13 coming out, 17 going in. Cuba gets their second point because of a faulty serve, their 22nd point, and we are at 22-24. And a timeout at the time of the Dominican Republic. So, we can continue this match. The second ref gives the clear. Cuba at the service line. Number 33 with a service. And a hit from number 6. Cuba couldn't defend that one. Cuba loses 22-25 from the Dominican Republic. We are back again at the third set, and Cuba with a strong service opening, and Dominican Republic making their first point. Want to know? Number 2 for the Dominican Republic at the service line, Molina Ronir Albert. And a shackled pass by Cuba, giving Dominican Republic their second point. Number 2 again at the service line. The ball gets slipped through his finger while he was trying to pass it. And Cuba making their first point in this match because of a faulty block from the Dominican Republic. The ref actually called technical error. Number 15 standing at the service line for the Cuba. Number 15's name is Camino Martinez Brian. Yes. Supposedly an outside hitter for Cuba. And he served out, giving Dominican Republic their third point. Cuba, Dominican Republic at the service. Pass. A hit through their block down on their own court, giving Cuba their second point at this match. 2-3. Here we go with keeping themselves close, the opponent close, and not letting them walk out too far. Number 17 at the service line. A pass too much on the net, but the setter keeps it in or alive, and it gets hit straight into the court of Cuba. Dominican Republic 4, Cuba 2. The Dominican Republic at the service line. Number 6. Firm serve. Defense by Dominican Republic. Hit, but got defended. Kept alive by defense from the Dominican Republic, and hit straight inbound by number 6 from the Dominican Republic. Figueroa Lantigua, Andrea Jose. He's at the surface. Into the net, giving Cuba their third point, 3-5. Chago from Cuba at the service line. A pass by Dominican Republic. A hit. Touches the block but gets defended by the libero from Cuba. And a monstrous block by Cuba on the hitter from the Dominican Republic, giving Cuba their 4th point. Oh wait, that gets called in. So the block was on their own side, giving Dominican Republic their 6th point, 6-3. And Cuba hits back with a tremendous attack, and the Dominican Republic could not defend that. Serve and a pass. That is a 4-time touch of the ball because the ball did not get played into the block but into the net. Cuba making their 5th point, 5-6. 1 point difference in this set. Cuba lost 2 sets to the Dominican already, but very close. They kept their opponent very close during the match, during the sets. Adrian keeps hitting and scoring for the Dominican Republic as he just did. And he scored number 7 for the Dominican Republic at the service line. Number 18, Ortiz Valdez. He serves into the net, giving Cuba their 6th point. Number 33 from Cuba at the service line. Into the net again. This has been going back and forth for a while, giving Dominican Republic their 8th point. The Dominican Republic at the service line currently. Number 9, jump float. A pass keeps hanging in the back of the court. And the block from the Dominican Republic didn't quite calculate what that attack was going to be like and accidentally blocked the ball into their own court. Cuba making their 7th point, 7-8 it is. Number 5 with his strong jump serve from Cuba. The ball gets kept alive, a little bit of a rally here. And again, the ball gets kept alive. And a block by number 4 and number 2 from Cuba, keeping from the Dominican Republic, keeping Cuba at bay, giving the Dominican Republic their 9th point, 9-7 it is. Number 2, Ronnie Albert at the service line for the Dominican Republic. The court assistant is trying to dry up the court to keep it safe for the boys. Through sweat, it gets slippery, and we have to eliminate that possibility of injury through that form. Dominican Republic at the serve. Defense by Dominican Republic. Defense again. And the ball is in the diagonal by number 6. Adrian Jose from the Dominican Republic, giving them their 10th point, 10-7 it is. Drying up the floor again. Now we may continue. Number 2. Touch ball. The first referee calls out, but the boys were not quite agreeing with that one. So the first referee calls out the captain to, I guess, ask them to contain themselves. We understand the pressure and the excitement, but what the referee says goes, and that's every player knows that. The Cuba making their 8 point at the service line right now. Number 15 making a jump serve gets, and that is a call from the second ref, giving Dominican Republic their 11 point because Cuba just made a net error. They touched the net. Dominican Republic at the service line. Number 4 for Dominican Republic. Firm serve. The ball gets blocked but kept in play by the libero. Blocked again, defended by the Dominican Republic, and blocked by Cuba. Dominican Republic is kept at bay in this one, making Cuba making their 9 point by blocking an attack from the Dominican Republic as correctly as possible as they can. Number 17 for Cuba, Acosta at the service line. Acosta going for a jump serve into the net, giving Dominican Republic their 12th point. Dominican Republic at the serve, a pass by Cuba, a defense but not quite good enough because the ball was not hit but actually played very tactical. Cuba making their 10th point, 10-12 is the counting of the score. Cuba at the service line, Chago with a float into the net, giving Dominican Republic their 13 point, 13-10. Dominican Republic at the service line, number 12, Rojas de Jesus with a jump float, a pass that kept hanging on the 2-meter line, but gets firmly hit in by Chago, making number 11 for Cuba. Number 46 going to the service line to play his part in this set. Service, number 46. A hit and a defense, but a free ball because it was not quite defended that well that you can play. Another defense and a faulty set by the setter. The first referee called double, giving Dominican Republic their 14 point, 14-11. Ortiz Valdez at the service line. Cleaning up the court a bit or drying it up a bit. Ortiz is having the time of his life at the back of the line. Okay, we can continue. Ortiz. A pass through the middle and surely in. Clean in by number 33 from Cuba, making their 12th point in this set. Number 33 at the service line for Cuba. That would be Wilson Falquez. And the ball gets shackled outbound by the Dominican Republic, giving Cuba their 13th point. Number 33, Wilson at the service line. Not so great of a pass, but the libero does his part and does a free ball over. And Thiago hits it clean in as best as he could, making number 14 for Cuba. 14 to all it is. The Dominican Republic just signed for their first timeout to give the boys a little bit of headspace and collecting themselves, and also for instructions. I don't see him really talking a lot. He does, but it's I guess quite a sign of saying, hey, we need to focus and look at what's going on right now, because we're neck to neck at this point. It is 14 to 14. Here we are again after the timeout. Cuba at the service. Number 33. Outbound. This is the effect of a timeout, actually. This is what I was explaining to you guys earlier or yesterday. You take the timeout to get a player out of their rhythm, but also to give your players a headspace or a breather. Dominican Republic at the service line. And a very tactical tip ball. Nobody was ready for that, and nobody saw it coming. So it scores. Cuba makes their 15th point. It is 15 to 15. And that is a touche call, or a touch ball call by the linesman, and the first referee follows that, giving Dominican Republic their 16th point. Number 2 at the service line for the Dominican Republic. Service, a pass that stays hanging in the back of the court, giving the setter some trouble. A hit, a set by, and another attack by number 12. 15, I mean 15. Making Cuba 16 points. We are neck to neck here, guys. 16 to 16. Number 15 with his famous jump serve into the net, giving Dominican Republic their 17th point. At this point, it's just like, who has the most or the strongest mental players? Because this is a mental game. Given the advantage that Dominican Republic already won 2 sets, we are 17 to 17. Giving the advantage to Dominican Republic because they already won 2 sets, but the disadvantage at Cuba's side, where they have to win this one and also 2 other sets if they want to win this match. A pass by the Dominican Republic, and a hit but blocked by Cuba. Actually not blocked inbound but outbound, giving Dominican Republic their 18th point. Service from Dominican Republic. Number 5 sets. And a firm hit by Thiago. Oh no, number 46 from Cuba. Making their 18th point. It's 18 to 18. Thiago at the service line. And the ball is in through the block from Dominican Republic. Actually, somehow it got blocked onto their own court, giving Cuba their 19th point. And this is where it gets interesting. Can Dominican Republic maintain their focus to win actually this set? Number 6 hits outbound, giving Cuba their 20th point. This is a different story from all the two other sets where Dominican Republic had a constant advantage of being in the lead. Dominican Republic takes their second timeout in this set. I don't think the coach is very happy because the way he is talking right now, he's not very happy with the fact that the boys are not doing the most to keep their advantage, because playing two other sets is not what he's looking forward to. Dominican Republic 18, and Cuba 20. We have a 2-point difference for the first time in this match, because we started off always with 1 point difference and then neck to neck. Chago at the service line. A pass. Let's see, can number 6 finish? And he does. He scores number 19 for the Dominican Republic with a tactical tip ball. Number 12 at the service line. Rojas de Jesus. Free ball. Okay, gets defended and kept alive. In ball. They are not quite agreeing with the first ref because they claim that the hitter just stepped out over the 3-meter line, but the ref calls Sawani calls it a point for the Dominican Republic, which brings them on 20-20. Cuba took a timeout to, I guess, maybe contain or try and contain the boys because they were not agreeing with the first ref. So to get the boys in the right headspace and to calm them down is best if they take a timeout. Timeout is finished. The boys are walking onto the court. Here we go with the Dominican Republic, number 12 at the service. This is a matter of a mental game, actually. Ooh, that is a massive block from Cuba, keeping number 6 from the Dominican Republic at bay and making their 21st point. Cuba in the lead once again for the very first time in this match. A pass and a hit. And number 6 is a bit off game, I guess, because he has been making points, but lately he didn't score 3 in a row, giving Cuba their 22nd point. Will Cuba win this set? It's number 46 with a jump serve and acing it as well, giving Cuba, making number 23 for Cuba. 23-20 it is. Very close. A pass by the libero. And a hit by number 6. Gets blocked, but inbound. Number 24 for Cuba. There's a bit of a struggle at the side of the Dominican Republic. This is set point or match point. 24-20. This is a very close call for Cuba and the Dominican Republics. If this one scores, they will have to play one more set to see what happens. And Cuba is fighting and doing their very best to keep this match theirs, or this set theirs. The ball gets defended nicely by the libero. Played over by free ball. Defended again. Defended by Cuba. Defended by the libero. And hit inbound by number 15 from Cuba. Actually winning this set for Cuba. 25-20 it is. Fourth set, Cuba won from the Dominican Republic, and we are now playing to see whether or not Dominican Republic will bounce back or Cuba will make a great comeback. Cuba just made their first point, number 5 at the service line for Cuba. That is Iglesias Jesus. little bit of cleaning the court or drying up the court. Here we go. A pass over the net. A defense correctly. Tip ball, but gets defended by the libero. And a great kill by number 15 from Cuba, Camino Martinez. Cuba 2-0. Here we go again. Cuba jump serve by Martinez. Iglesias, I mean. I'm sorry. From Cuba. And the first point for the Dominican Republic by a block ball. Block and plate, actually. Dominican Republic, number 2 at the service line, Molina Rodriguez. And through the middle, a very firm hit by Contreras, giving Cuba their third point, 3-1 in this set. Number 15 with his famous jump serve from Cuba, Camino, that is. And a firm hit by number 6 from the Dominican Republic, Figueroa. I'll just call him Adrian Jose. That's easier for me. Number 4 at the service line for the Dominican Republic. And number 46 hits from Cuba, but the block plays it outbound. Point 4 for Cuba in this 4th set in the 3rd match of day number 2 in the under 23 Pan Am Norseca Cup. And through faulty communication, a ball gets blocked inbound, and actually both of the players were there to play the ball, but nobody was very sure who was going to get it, so the ball falls between them, and actually it frustrates. Cuba makes number 5-2 in this set. I'm not quite sure what happened to the Dominican Republic and their power with which they started, but we're seeing a bit of a downfall here, where the energy drops. Actually, Ortiz, number 18 from the Dominican Republic, makes their 3rd point for them through the middle. Number 6 at the service line for the Dominican Republic. And Thiago hits straight inbound, making Cuba 6 point. 6-3 it is. We have a 3-point lead for Cuba. Thiago at the service line. A pass, a hit into the net by Adrian Jose, giving Cuba their 7th point. Thiago again at the service line for Cuba. A great defense from Cuba just now, where a block ball is being kept alive, but then played into the backcourt of the Dominican Republic, which they could not defend, making their 8th point, 8-3. This is the biggest, and now their 9 point by Thiago's serve gets shackled outbound. This is the greatest points difference we have had since this match started. We are at a point difference of 6. Timeout from Cuba, from the Dominican Republic. Timeout finished. The second ref giving the clear to play. Cuba at the service line with Thiago. A hit but blocked by Cuba, keeping Dominican Republic at bay here. And a very strong pace and fast flowing pace. The score is now 10-3. The first ref calls both captains, I guess, to calm them down, because there was a bit of a sassy encounter there when number 12 got blocked. Cuba at the service line with Thiago. The second ref checking if the formations are correct. Giving the clear to play. Thiago with a jump flow. Passed. So set. And straight in by Ortiz through the middle from the Dominican Republic, making their 4th point 4-10. The Dominican Republic has a very big steps to make. But I always say it's point for point. We go point before point. Otherwise, you sweat yourself, and it's not good for the nerves. Here we go. Thiago with a hit from the back of the court through the 3-meter line, making Cuba's 11 point. Number 46 at the service line. A pass faulty, but kept alive by the center. Free ball. And a tactical ball scores for Cuba, giving themselves their 12th point, 12-4. This is the biggest I have seen from this set or this match in score difference. And number 6 scores yet again with a tremendous hit from the back of the court through the 3-meter line. That is Adrian Jose. Cuba, Dominican Republic making their 5th point, 5-12. Ortiz with the serve. Can they get it back? No, the ref already blew his whistle. They tried to defend the ball and keep it alive, but it was, I guess, a bit too far outbound. So gives Cuba their 13th point. Number 33 with the service from Cuba. And a tremendous hit. The block of Cuba could not withhold that, giving Dominican Republic their 6th point. Number 9 for the Dominican Republic at the service. A pass, a set, and a tactical ball outbound. Number 15 tried to tip the ball, but played it a little bit too far from the sidelines. We're at now, Dominican Republic made their 7th point. We're going 7-13. Are they closing in surely but slowly? A defense from the libero, a hit from number 6, but catched by the libero from Cuba. We're out. Actually, the ball was outbound, but number 12 stuck his hands too far out, I guess, and touched the ball. Where now Cuba made their 14th point. We're 7-point difference, so 14 for Cuba and 7 for the Dominican Republic. Cuba is very fast paced at this moment in a rhythm that they did not have in the 2 first sets. But let's see if they can maintain that. A pass through a very strong serve. And a blocked ball, but blocked outbound by Cuba, making Dominicans 8 points for them. Dominican Republic at the service and out. That was too strong of a service and way beyond, giving Cuba their 15 point, 15-8. Cuba, number 15 with his famous jump flow. A great pass though from that strong of a serve, and a tactical tip ball makes yet another point for the Dominican Republic. Number 9-15. The court assistants are trying to dry up, where Cuba just tried to defend the tip ball. The guys are very sweaty, I can tell you that, to prevent injuries from happening through slippery slopes. Giving us a bit of a delay. Still waiting for the crew to finish out. Kind of takes off the rhythm for me, and I guess for the boys too, because it's waiting and you can't move or do anything. So finally finished, and we can resume the game. The second ref gives the good to go sign. Number 4 from the Dominican Republic at the service line. A pass, a set. Too far, I guess. And the second ref calls the net touch. I thought the set was too far, but it actually was. And giving Dominican Republic their 10 point, 10-15. The gap is slowly but surely closing in. 5 points difference. Dominican Republic with a serve. A faulty pass, but still a good hit from the attacker, where Dominican Republic touched the ball when going outbound, giving Cuba their 16 point. Cuba, number 17 at the service line, into the net, giving Dominican Republic their 11 point. That was Contreras Acosta, number 17. Now we have, for the Dominican Republic at the service line, number 6, Adrian Jose. Where Chago hits, not Chago, it's Chago. Chago hits outbound, very hard though, giving Dominican Republic their 12 point. 12-16. Can the Dominican Republic close the gap and take the lead yet again to win the set, or will the match tip over after Cuba tries and wins this set, tries to win it. And a nice spike from number 46 from Cuba, giving Cuba their 17 point. This match can go either way at this point. And a blocked but defended ball, although the players were not sure if it was defended correctly, so everybody stood and watched the ball go outbound. Cuba makes point number 18. 18 to 12 it is. And a faulty attack from Ortiz through the middle gives Cuba their 19 point. This is a very quick pace, yet again taking the lead and stopping Cuba from stopping the Dominican Republic from closing the gap and trying to take the lead yet again. So now we're back at 19-12.
En een speciale welkom aan de jongens van team Suriname.
And we are back from the timeout. Cuba at the service line. A pass is set up to the outside, and a tactical ball scores point number 13 for the Dominican Republic, 13 to 19. A very exciting game, a very nerve-wracking game, if you'd ask me. Cuba, Dominican Republic at the service. A faulty pass, but a good hit, but a great block, keeping Cuba at bay, making point number 14, trying their hardest to close the gap. Dominican Republic at the service line. A pass. And a hit straight into the net by number 33 from the Cuba, giving Dominican Republic their 15 point. 15 to 19. Cuba requesting a timeout. I suppose to give their boys a headspace and bring it to their attention that their opponent are not puppets. So they will fight back. We are back from the timeout. The score says 15 for the Dominican Republic, which are now at the service line, and 19 for Cuba. A pass, a set through the middle, and a hit through the block outbound, making their 20th point. Cuba in the lead and looking forward to a win. Cuba at the service line. Defended. Defended yet again. Inbound by number 6, Adrian Jose from Dominican Republic, making their 16 point, not losing heart or who's losing hope, I guess. Number 18, Ortiz at the service line. into the net. Not what you need at the moment, but it's what's given. Number 21 for Cuba. Cuba making a switch with number 13 and number 33. Martinez for Wilson. 21 for Cuba, 16 for the Dominican Republic. Serve from Cuba. A pass from the libero from the Dominican Republic. And a ball inbound by Adrian Jose, making Dominicans 17-point. Serve from the Dominican Republic into the net yet again. This is actually not what you're looking for at this stage of the game. Cuba 22, Dominican Republic 17. And a ace by number 5 from Cuba, making their 23rd point in this set. This is the 4th set. If Cuba wins this set, we have to yet play a 5th set to determine the winner, because then the set score would be 2-2. And a hit outbound, giving Cuba their set point or match point, as you prefer. 24 to 17. 24 for Cuba, 17 for the Dominican Republics. A pass by the libero, a hit, and a block outbound, giving Dominican Republic their 18th point. Shall we say all hope is not lost? A moment to dry up the court. We can resume the set. Number 2 from the Dominican Republic, Molina Rodriguez at the service. Great serve, great pass, amazing hits, and Cuba wins yet another set with 25-18. So the set score now counts 2-2. Where we have to play the 5th and determining set. This set goes to the 15 points. It does not count to 25, so it can be a very tricky and quick set. Right now, the captains from both sides are yet again at the net to determine who will get a serve, to decide on which side they will play. At 8 points, they will change courts, as is determined by the volleyball international rules.
Still I'm devoid of tools to give. My thinking is primitive, but when it comes to giving it to anybody, boy is Bruce generous. And I'm not as much of a boy as Bruce generous. So I'm not a boy, I'm a man. Man, I'm treated as free as his chose to choose generous. Now we know the slayers free for killing. I call it the niche. Like Roma beats, man. Roma beats, man.
Welcome to the fifth set in this very exciting game, actually. To see a great comeback from Cuba after losing the first two sets and winning the third and also the fourth, and now the determining set to see who gets this match to under their belt, who will win this set. The opponent or the team that wins this set is the winner of this match. So, Dominican Republic had the privilege of serving first. That is one tricky ball from the setter. He jumped up with both of his arms as if he was going to set the ball, but then he swept the ball to the other side of the court, making the first point for Cuba. Cuba at the service line. Into the net by number 5, Iglesias. He was the one that supposedly made the first point and then gives it back by a faulty service. 1-all. Dominican Republic at the serve. A pass by Cuba, a set, and a tremendous hit by number, was that 35 or 15? I can't, no, it was not 35, it was 15 from Cuba, making their second point. Number 15 with his amazing jump serve. And a block outbound, giving Dominican Republic their second point, 2-all. This is do or die. This is game, set, match. This is no time to joke around or think that you have time or another set left. This is a hit from number 46 through the block, outbounds, making Cuba's third point. The liberal hyping up the supporters to hype up the players, I guess. And a great service, but a great pass as well. And a tremendous block by Chago and number 33, Wilson, making Cuba's fourth point. 4-2. And just like that, in a very fast pace, Cuba has taken the lead in this last set of this match. A great pass and a great hit, but outbound, giving Cuba their fifth point. 5-2 it is. Service from Cuba, number 17, Contreras Acosta at the service line. A great pass, a set to the back, and a hit outbound, but touched by the blocker from Cuba. So, giving Dominican Republic their third point. 3-5 it is. Number 6, Adrian Jose from Dominican Republic at the service line, a firm serve. And a tremendous hit from number 33, Wilson from Cuba. But I'm not sure if it actually hit the block and got blocked in, or if it just hit the net and it's just a net ball. But the matter of the point is that Dominican Republic gets their fourth point. Yet again, a request from the second referee to stop the play. I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening there or why they requested a stop. I'm guessing they called the ball. The players from Cuba were not quite agreeing with the ball from the call from the referee, and so the refs, I guess, communicated that to themselves and decided that the point was in fact really going to the Dominican Republic, and they deserved that as well, giving Dominican Republic their fourth point and now their fifth through a net touch from a player from Cuba. So the stakes are high, guys. We are neck to neck yet again, 5-all. 5-all. The Dominican Republic just got their fifth point because of a net touch or a net error from Cuba. And a play here where number 6 hits the ball through the block onto the court of Cuba, making their 6th point. A timeout for Cuba, I think, to collect. Yes, a timeout for Cuba. This is yet another tactic of getting your players to relax, especially after 2 calls that they do not agree with, actually. So the first call was that the ball was touched by a Cuban blocker, and the second call was that it was a net error, but what the ref says goes, because they are standing right there. I'm merely observing from this distance, and I cannot be exact of what I see. The second ref gives the goal to, and Adrian Jose with the serve for the Dominican Republic, and Chago hit outbound, but the ref calls it in, and that is point number 6 for Cuba. A moment here to dry up the court. Cuba at the serve, Thiago. A pass, a set, a tremendous hit, but defended almost with his face though, the libero. And another tremendous hit by Adrian goes outbound through the block of Cuba, giving Dominican Republic their 7th score. Dominican Republic at the service, a pass by Cuba, a set, a hit, defended, and a point for the Dominican Republic because of a because a player of Cuba stepped over the middle line. That means stepping over to the other side of the court, giving Dominican Republic their 8th point, which means that we now switch courts at 8 points with an immediate resume of the game. The second ref gives the go-to, and we can resume the set. Cuba, Dominican Republic at the service line. A hit and a defense from the libero kept alive. And oh my God, I was so devastated by that. A faulty play by number 12 from the Dominican Republic, giving Cuba their 7 points. Cuba at the service line. A pass greatly from the libero, And a hit, but blocked inbound. A hit by Adrian, but blocked by Cuba. Kept him at bay and giving Cuba their 8 point. The boys are very much alive at this point, and we are neck to neck. 8-all it is. Number 46 with a jump serve, a pass, kept alive, and a hit into the court of Cuba. Cuba playing back, and a net fault, a error at the net by Ortiz, called by the second ref, gives Cuba their 9 point, and a timeout called by the Dominican Republic because this is a mental game, as I already said. 9-8, 9 for Cuba, 8 for the Dominican Republic. The timeout is over. Cuba at the service line, number 46. A hit and through the block inbound. The libero was just falling short with defending that ball. He stood too far, in my opinion, but he just came short with defending that, giving Dominican Republic their 9 point. 9-9. Ortiz at the service line. The stakes are high, the nerves are up, and the focus is sharp. Here we go. What is this? And outbound. This is not what you want. Not at this point in the match. Giving Cuba their 10 point. 10-9. 1 point difference. Number 33 at the service line for Cuba. Wilson. A pass and a hit. And the block kept him at bay, giving Cuba their 11 point. A timeout for Dominican Republic. At this moment, the mental stability, not the mental stability, but you're playing a mental game. If you give up in your mind, the game is lost. But I don't think either of these teams are giving up in their mind because they're going at it very strong, keep hitting, keep defending, and keep passing the ball to see and try and make a point at this moment. Cuba at the service line, Wilson with a service. Into the net. It kind of looks like a replay from the last set where we had 4 balls straight from both sides going into the net, giving Dominican Republic their 10 point as well. So now it's 10-11. Number 9 from the Dominican Republic, Ortiz Polanco. And a block keeping Cuba at bay, bringing the Dominican Republic at 11. That means we're already neck to neck from a 1 point difference to nothing in difference. It's 11 all, guys. Polanco again. And a block by the Dominican Republic, but outbound, giving Cuba their 12th point. 12-11. Here we go again. Cuba at the service line. A touch by the block, so the ball needs to be kept alive, and it did. A block again, kept alive again. And straight through, passes the block, but does not get defended by the Dominican Republic, giving Cuba their 13 point, getting them a step closer to 15. Cuba again at the service line. Into the net. Not quite what you want, but the nerves are there and it's not easy to surpass that. Number 12 from the Dominican Republic at the service line. Rojas. A tremendous hit, hitting the libero nearly in his face, shackled outbounds, giving Cuba their 14 point and also their match set, or set point, or match point. And a hit firmly and shackled out, touch out from the Dominican Republic, giving them their 13th point, keeping Cuba at their toes, on their toes, and not giving up, guys. And a tremendous hit, blocked but outbound, giving Cuba their 15 point, winning the set tremendously, and an amazing comeback from Cuba. After they had like a 2-0 set score. They lost the two first sets and won the third, won the fourth, and also the fifth set, making themselves winners of this match. I hope you enjoyed the game. My name is Elina Marenjo, and stay tuned for Suriname, the host land, that will be playing at 8 o'clock local time against Guatemala. Have a great evening.